Fourth graders, today for science, we're going to work on learning about how our senses relate to how our brain processes information. So at the beginning of distance learning, when you went on your nature walk to find a flower to dissect or to observe living things around you, you might have used your senses, your eyesight to see things, you used your nose to smell things, you used your different senses and you didn't even realize what your brain was doing. So we're going to go through and kind of learn how our brain processes each sense and what happens. So first we're going to look at taste. So we'll write taste in here. Okay. And the structure that we use to process taste or to take in taste. First, we use our tongue, right? We put food in our mouth and we can taste it because of our tongue. And on our tongue, we have little tiny bumps that we need to make sure that we take care of that are called our taste buds. And our tongue, I don't know if you know this, but our tongue has taste buds in different spots for different tastes. Like the sides are for sour. So if you ever get that puckery feeling here, it's because the sides of your tongue are getting that sour taste. So we get our taste buds. Okay. And then our mouth, of course, right? That's the whole structure that holds all of that in. And then you'll notice if you do some of the optional activities that our nose is really big with our sense of taste. If you notice whenever you're sick and you have a stuffy nose, you can't taste things as well. You can try it if you put a super flavorful candy, like if we were in class, we would use a Starburst. You put that Starburst in your mouth and plug your nose, or plug your nose and then put the Starburst in your mouth. You will notice that you don't have the flavor quite as much. So our nose is really big for our taste. Okay. Next, the next sense that we're going to talk about is our touch. We have touch, right? Feeling, things that we can feel. So our skin, right, processes that information, skin. Our fingers and hands. Our nerves, if ever your nerves get damaged, you'll notice that maybe you don't feel things the way that you used to, or you can't feel at all. So our nerves are big for touch. Oops. And our feet can also feel things. And that's not to say that those are the only things that can feel. Obviously, if you touch your leg, you feel it on your leg, but you also feel it in your hand, right? That's part of your skin. Okay. Our next one is smell. And really the only structure that takes in smell is our nose. We can't smell through our mouth. We may taste things through our mouth. You know, if we plug our nose and we breathe in, maybe near the garlic bread, we're tasting the garlic in the air, but we can't smell it. So our nose is really the only thing that helps us process smell. Sight. Only our eyes help us process sight. And hearing. And that's only with our ears. Okay. Now, if we look at all of these things are going to kind of funnel, and I'll shade it in there, going to kind of funnel into this information processing bubble. Okay. And this bubble is, you know, we're defining what information processing is. And it just means that the brain is processing information from our senses. So our brain is taking in what we see and it's processing what we see and trying to understand and put together what's going on. So we'll write the brain. Processes I'm gonna write info from our senses. Okay, say it as best as you can. All right, then our brain does something with that information. So it puts something out and it tells our body to do something with the information that it gets, right? So we're gonna go back, so I want you to think they go straight across. So taste goes straight across. So still looking at taste, we can say that we can have a response. Like I said, if you feel that sour, you get that pucker feeling, right? So your mouth gets all tight, right? If you have a lemon head. Or if something is spicy, maybe you'll react and you'll kind of fan your mouth. So there's a reaction that your brain gives, and I'm going to let you fill in that part. The reaction that your brain gives for what happens when you taste something sour or spicy. Your brain processes the information, and then your body does something in reaction to that. For touch, if you touch, like if you pet the dog, you feel that it's soft, right? Or maybe dirty, maybe the dog needs a bath, right? If you touch something hot, you will pull away, you'll recoil, right? Because that's your instinct. If you touch something prickly, maybe you won't pet it, you'll just touch it, so our brain again is processing, and then what do we do with that information? Well, how does our body react? Let's see, for smell, maybe something smelly, right? Like when you were on your nature walk, maybe you walked past the trash can and it was stinky. Or I don't know, if your dogs are anything like mine, we always have to carry a poop bag, right? So it's smelly. We don't want to smell that. We plug our nose or we make a face. Or like if we were talking about when we can smell the garlic bread, right? We're like, ooh, that's really tasty. Maybe our mouth starts to water because we're hungry. So there's a different reaction there. With sight, like if we see something beautiful, like we see a sunset, or we see a cute baby or a cute puppy, or if the sun is bright, what do? We try and shade our eyes to help our eyes be protected from that bright light. Okay, and then finally hearing, we can hear, car horns or birds or people talking, but if something's too loud, our hands go to our ears to help protect ourselves. And again, that's an instinct that we learn, or not even that we learn, that we know to do our bodies without even having to be trained, without having to learn. We cover our ears to protect our ears and protect our bodies. So I'm going to let you fill in the reaction column on your own. What happens when? So I want you to say, maybe if you taste sour, I would say I make a face, right? Okay, so that's an example for you. Put it down. So you fill in the reaction part for your own thing. If you touch something soft, what do you do? If you taste something sweet, what happens? Or a cookie. But I want you to fill in that reaction part. And what does your brain tell your body to do when that sense is used? So if you have any questions, let me know. But this relates to our cow eye dissection that will happen soon, and how our eyes process information and send them to our brain and what happens. So we're going to be learning this week about the brain, and then next week is all about the cow eye. So I'll see you soon. Bye, 4th grade.